We ain't got no makeup today. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Wabi-Sabi, my Japanese city / cyberpunk island. Today we're doing a to-do list, but it's kind of like a loose free-form to-do list, which is to say that it won't really be that structured. I just wanted to play this day and I didn't feel like having my camera on, so I just logged into the game and got started with the areas that I knew I wanted to build. And let's just rewind a second. Did you see what I did? I went to check my mailbox and I awkwardly stepped into the pergola. This happens every single day that I go to check my mailbox. Having the pergola there makes me sidestep in a weird way and it's super annoying. So first I had to deal with that. I finally extended the terraforming and put the pergola in a place that it's not gonna drive me insane every day. And after shuffling around a couple more items, this Kodamatsu was actually quite hidden. So I brought it out into sight, into plain sight. And I'm just running around to give you a little bit more context as to where this is, and you might have seen a mannequin. I am in the middle of building a rock garden right here, and I have one rock that is missing. And at this point, I was not worried about it because I had just time traveled to see if the fifth rock had come into place, and it did. So I just put in some custom designs that I had been planning to add in. I really like the way that I did this off camera, and I'm really happy with the arch tile with the grass over top and the mix of the Zen fencing and the hedges. But as you can see, here are all of my lovely mannequins, keeping my island safe from randomly spawning rocks. And then I continued with my little mental checklist of the things that I had to do for today, which included Kiki's house. Kiki is a normal villager, and I've always wanted to make for her a bookstore in this little area, so I'm just checking in on it, making a note of it on my to-do list, and I wanted to show you actually a build that I worked on off camera again. This Cyberpunk plaza in front of the actual plaza, and if you do remember, this is where I did have part of my carnival that was a challenge that I did with a bunch of other creators to do like a black and white challenge. But the build overall didn't have like a cyberpunk feel, so I did take it down and I replaced it with this really cute little entrance to the beach. And over here on the beach, I am going to be making like a cyberpunk party scene, I think. There are probably going to be a couple of party spots on the Sabi side of the island, on the cyberpunk side. But as you can see, I extended out the river mouth and up like this into a little bridge moment with just some city roads around it. And I think you can see on the map here how that's added a lot more water to the Sabi side. Sabi has a lot of lag, it's ridiculous, so adding any water to that side is gonna help with the amount of lag that we have there, so I tried to do my best, and I kind of wanted a little bridge moment with some city surroundings, so that's what we got started working on first. I will say that my Japanese city instincts are a lot stronger than my cyberpunk instincts, and so I feel like this area in particular got a little bit Japanese city-esque and a lot less cyberpunk-esque, if that makes sense. Originally, this island was going to be a combined island between my husband and I, but then he got going on other projects that he was passionate about, and I totally get that. No time for Animal Crossing. Worth a shot, right? Like, it was worth a shot for me to try to get him to play this game more. But he had a more clear vision of what cyberpunk is, and cyberpunk is like his favorite aesthetic of forever and like sci-fi looking stuff. But this is like basically just a grungy city. And I think that's as close to cyberpunk as I can get for the most part. Some of the builds that I've done definitely have more of that like punky cyber, like that. I mean, even though I tried to make like a cyberpunk plaza, it really came off looking like dark fairy core or something like that. So I don't know if I'm nailing the aesthetics here, but I'm having fun. That's all I can ask for. We play an Animal Crossing here, guys. However, I will say that one thing that I could have done to help me make a better Cyberpunk build was to build it at night, because I think that the lights and like adding a lot more neon kind of aspects to it would have made a big difference. And I think in the future I'm going to go to like a treasure island and actually just seek out neon glowing signage and then try to update these spots to look a little bit more cyberpunk. But as I was saying, the one thing that I could have done to help myself a little bit more was to start building at night instead of during the day, because there's only so much that I can actually tell if the illuminated items are illuminating enough. I didn't really put in enough of those glowing items, but I would have realized that very quickly if I had been working at night. I decided to move on because I was getting frustrated with that build down in the cyberpunk area, so I went back to my comfort zone and decided to build Kiki a little library, because that was what I was very excited to do anyway. So I took down all of the trees, all my mannequins for the rock garden, because this entire area is going to be devoted to Kiki and her beautiful bookstore that I've been dying to make. So once I had covered the entire back half in this wood in-game pathing, which I love the wood in-game pathing, I was going to try to download another code to put on top of this wood, but it stands on its own, I think, when you're doing like an outdoor-indoor kind of vibe, especially a bookstore. And then I started making this patio, and it's kind of like a front entrance way to the library. I want it to very much feel like connected to the library. Like this is a cozy little area where after you buy your book, you like get a coffee and read outside or study. So that'll come together in the future. But I did want to put this bamboo tree there, so I had to adjust some of the water terraforming so I could fit a tree in there and some bushes and flowers, and it looks really cute in the end. So I end up centering only one plant partition with a safety railing behind it, and I think that that works a lot better. What I'm trying to achieve with this is the look of like an open window with a planter box in front of it, and I do involve some of my beautiful decorative pillars in the end, but I did have to go to an order bot island, and I wanted to like work on the build with whatever I had and then see what I needed to go to the order bot island and come back and complete it. So that is exactly what I did. And this is the sign that did it all. When I saw this sign, it looks like it's a cat reading a book, and it has like Kiki's colors. You know, it has that yellow, red, green vibe that I just so much associate with my girl Kiki reading a book, and I'm obsessed with it. Another thing that I had to go to an Orderbot Island for was some bookshelves, because I didn't have quite enough to complete the build. What I wanted to do, what I had a vision to do, was to put a medieval building side or two at the back and have these trees behind so that you would kind of see like there's a little bit of foliage out the back, but you're looking out these little windows. And I love these walls because they have the little lights on them. And I wasn't sure if I just wanted to put bookcases in front of them, but I ended up framing it out and then putting a vintage dresser in the middle, and it looks more like a shop than a library. I used a lot of the vintage furniture in this build. I wasn't sure if I was going to actually throw in a vintage couch too, but I didn't end up having room for it. But I used the cash register, the table, the dresser, the stool, and the low table. And I feel like just the color of wood just reads antique bookshop, like, or any kind of bookshop. And I feel like in Japan, there is that kind of like antique aesthetic that pops up every once in a while. And that's kind of what I'm trying to showcase here. And then, of course, we had to go to Barry Chan's beautiful Orderbot Island to collect a lot of bookcases and other random things. Decorative pillars galore. We put them in. They look stunning. They make it feel more like a tall building when you put these decorative pillars in. They're one of my favorite items. I will say that framing out the edge with bookcases made it feel a lot cozier on the inside, but it did close off the incline on the left-hand side there a little bit, and I'm kind of debating if I prefer it being a little bit closed off or if I like it being a little bit more open, but I think I like the closed-in feeling that it gives the bookshop better than I like an open-feeling staircase, so I did leave it in there, although I fussed with it a lot. And I cut all of that footage out just so that you wouldn't have to see me waffle. And once I put this fencing in on the front there, I decided that it would be kind of cute to have like a riverside study area. So I put one of the metal and wood one of the metal and wood tables beside the bench with a coffee cup and the other one for doing homework. Scatter papers and we done. Here is the completed build of Kiki's little bookshop. I love it. I hope you guys love it. And I hope that Kiki loves it. She is inside right now, so I have not seen her walking around inside of the bookshop. She came close and she was wearing a cute outfit to be manning the bookstore, but she was not inside of it. So I had to take over her duties for a bit. Once I had the bookstore completed, I went up the incline and over to the rock garden again. And here it was more about fencing details, lighting details. I want this to still be a very functional rock garden that I can hit the rocks whenever I feel like it. If I need resources, I can find them in one place. Typically, I don't really care and I can put fencing right up against the rock or a decoration right up against the rock. But here I wanted to have space, but I also wanted it to feel decorated. So I focused on using lighting and fencing and angling the lights in certain ways to make it look very cozy and like a quiet little rock garden, like a Zen rock garden that's kind of been somewhat lost, somewhat abandoned as a little park, but maybe still older people like to walk through here and kind of meditate for a second. So that's the kind of overall vibe that I'm looking for. And I skipped over a lot of building this, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I came down here to this little spot that I did leave undecorated when I was doing Kiki's bookstore, the part that you can see outside of the little windows. I do not know for the life of me why I thought it would be important to put custom designs down in this area that literally nobody will see, but I did. So we all know that that detail is there underneath this pine tree. You can't see it at all, but anyways, I know it's there and it feels nice. I ended up putting down an evergreen ash here as well, just to add even more greenery. You can't fit an actual tree over there, but I just wanted to feel packed with green. And it looked really nice. Put some more custom designs. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do around Able Sisters. I was kind of thinking that like a little mini Harajuku neighborhood could be cute with all the like Lolita fashion details. And I proceeded to come back to this little waterfront area that I did know that I wanted to finish off. So when I was at the Orderbot Island, I gathered a couple more items and decided to continue working on it in the day, even though it kind of came back to haunt me when I went to go and look at it at night and I noticed some details that I had to change. But I think with the addition of a lot more cars down these streets and a lot more lighting, it could work better. That being said, with the lag that I'm already experiencing in this area, it doesn't make me eager to add even more animated and like light up options, but it could be nice. You will see at times, I don't know if you've been able to catch it so far because of the way that I now edit my videos for speed builds and stuff, but sometimes when I went to place down items, you didn't even see them appear. It would just appear as a blank space. And then as I moved, it would pop into place. or it would appear as I was, yeah, see like this, the garbage can placed, and then it snaps to be visible. The lag is real. The lag is real, but it's funny that it doesn't do it for every single item. I think I've had times where it happened on almost every island that I've done in places where there's more items. And I decided to make a little construction spot on this zone approaching my little food market area that we did on stream. I'm obsessed with the food market. There are still some details that need to be cleaned up with the food market, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I love how it leads off of this main road now with the little construction area. And I put a lot of machines like ABD, snack machine, drink machine along this little corner because there are a lot of those kind of corners in Japan, these little corners of machines, and you can go and get yourself a drink late at night or something. I put a couple cones in between them, I put a bicycle down, and that was pretty much it for this little corner. It's kind of a secret way to get into the nighttime party, and what I'm thinking is it's like a secret way to break into the party, because you kind of have to do a sidestep to get over there. I think my entire philosophy for creating cities is just boxes and garbage and things made of metal. I mean, you can't go wrong. Throw down a couple garbage bags, throw down some random fencing in a strange combination that makes no sense and kind of looks grungy. Bam! City. And once I'd done a few of these little details around this area, it was time to move forward to the next day to check whether the rock garden actually worked, and I had my final rock into the rock garden. So we went over and checked that out, and it was a sad moment because my final rock did not show up and it was raining. So I looked everywhere for the rock on that day. I could not find it. I removed some fence and it still didn't show up. I thought it might have been the fence. And then I noticed that Able Sisters is down below. And I thought, wouldn't that be poopy if it was blocking because of Able Sisters? So I went and moved Lil Miss, Mabel, and Sable to the beach. And we time traveled forward another 2 days. And we're going to check. Our hearts are full of anxiety. Will it be there? Will it be there? It's there! We did it! The rock garden is complete. I had no drama getting all the rest of the rocks in, just this one rock. Of course, when I decided to go and record this video, we wanted to do the final rock, and it gave us the drama we were looking for. It truly is a happy moment when you finish a rock garden. It makes it all worth it. All the mannequins, all the nightmare. And speaking of mannequins, there was one more thing that we needed to do. The best thing, my favorite thing when you complete a rock garden is going in and changing the custom design so that all the mannequins just disappear. So what I decided to do with this mannequin was just put a check on the back, as if to say, it's done. And as we closed down the custom designs app and all the mannequins were gone, it felt like a breath of fresh air had washed over Wabi-Sabi like the beautiful rain. Too much? No, not enough. We moved Able Sisters back, and then I was on the hunt for a clear day that I could take some final shots of the rock garden. We found one beautiful sunset day. Doesn't it look magnificent? Isn't it the most beautiful rock garden you've ever seen in your entire life? Probably not, but I am so proud of it. Another island, another rock garden. So that is going to do it for today, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed coming along with me as I just did some cozy little things on Wabi-Sabi. I had several areas in mind that have been on my mind for a very long time to work on, and so getting these spaces cleaned up and looking fresh made a big difference in just like my overall thoughts of Wabi-Sabi and how it's going. I think we're at about like the 80 75%, 80% done point on this island, which is very exciting. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody. Ooh la la. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya, and this is Funfetti. Wait, this isn't Funfetti.